Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Secrets for an Inspirational Life. How are you all today? I hope that wherever you are, there is some beautiful moments that are alighting on your lives, and that you, in effect, as that old poem says, take a moment to smell the roses that are out there, to see really that life is certainly worth living. And there are so many beautiful and magical moments awaiting for each of us. And it really is a time to be grateful also. And I think once we are grateful for our life, for the people in our life, it is really like seeing a glimpse of heaven and joy, because we sometimes forget how lucky we are. Now, I am certainly very lucky, and I'm very honoured and delighted to welcome my guest today, who is the wonderful comedian Lenny Windsor. Lenny has been a natural performer since a very early age, performing as a bass player in his father's big band. And Lenny discovered his real love then and talent for comedy at the age of 16. Playing the usual circuits, such as pubs and clubs, Lenny was finally given his big break in Britain, when he appeared in shows such as Granada TV's The Comedians, the BBC's Summertime Special, That's Rich, The Oxford Show, and London Weekend Television's Knees Up. Before the comedian Benny Hill's death, Lenny was a writer for him, dealing with Benny on a one-to-one basis and supplying both routine sketches and jokes for this worldwide star. Lenny has appeared at no less than 2 Command performances and has entertained at Her Majesty the Queen's home at Windsor Great Park. He has also appeared at every major theatre in the UK. Lenny has appeared with great acts such as Gloria Gaynor, Roy Orbison, Carol Lawrence, The Supremes, Johnny Mathis, The Temptations, amongst many other world-class singers and acts. He regularly appears in America, recently in Las Vegas, appearing with Mr. Vegas himself, George Wallace, and appearing in the new reality TV show, Inspecting Vegas. Today, he shares his charm and his amazing life story. Welcome, dear Lenny.
Why, thank you. You put that so right. I can't believe you're talking about me.
Anyone would think you're a superstar.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I should be.
But you are.
I'm a legend in my own mind, dear.
And in your own right. And in your own
thank
right.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Oh, how are you? How are you, dear Lenny?
I'm good. I'm extremely good. I told you earlier on, I'm 75, and I'm, on Facebook I'm 15, but I'm 75, and I became a fitter in my about a year ago, in the lockdown. My wife and I, we both belong to a gym, and we started going to the gym, but 16 years ago, but we never took it seriously. And about a year ago, we did take it seriously. For some reason, we started to plow in there and do great stuff for ourselves. And we're doing 15,000 steps every single day. And we're raising money for the ambulance service. And that's what we're doing. We're doing this health kick at 75. Isn't that brilliant?
I think that's absolutely amazing. And you were telling me that both your wife and yourself have electric bikes that you go on for how many miles was it that you were saying?
Yesterday we went to the gym in the morning, and that we did our 10,000 steps in the morning, and then what we do is we go back to the gym in the evening to make up the 5,000 to make it 15,000 a day. But yesterday we got up and we went to the gym, and after the gym we went on about 20-mile bike ride. And that's
it. My goodness. I mean, is this a regular thing, Lenny? Do you do this every day?
Every day.
Oh, my goodness. I am just tired from listening to that.
I know that. But we have other things, Victoria is on lockdown too, because of the situation we're in, and she's a teacher, and she's not taught for 19 months because, well, she doesn't think it's safe for a start, and nor do I. So that's it. But we have another side. We have a wedding car company. And we've got some spectacular cars. And,
yes, tell us about that, because I know that you have a lot of very beautiful cars.
Yeah. So my son and I, well, my three sons and I, but my eldest son and I, and we have this a wedding company, a Windsor carriage company. And we got classic motor cars. We got three new Phantom Rolls Royces, three Ferraris, three Teslas, a Range Rover and a Defender. And these cars are, they weren't busy, of course. We took it on the chin for the whole 19, 18 months. But now we're busy. We're, people want to get married again,
You're getting, you're getting the business back up again. And do you just do weddings, or do you do different sort of events?
No, we do just weddings, really. We might do a prom now and again. We're not licensed to do a prom, but we might do it as a favour to somebody, for free. But they will only be very close to us for us to do that. But our wedding company is really, really doing well. And we've been 15 years doing that now. And we have for this, we've got this, I don't know, really, I'm prostituting myself, really, by telling the people who are getting married, would you like Lenny Windsor from the Benny Hill show to drive you on your wedding day? And they go, yeah. And that's it. And here I am, red nose and all that kind of stuff. No, I don't tell them jokes and stuff, but I do make them happy. We have a lot of fun.
Now, are you driving them? Are you driving the couple, the happy couple? You are?
Yeah, not all of them. I mean, like on Saturday, we had 5 weddings. I couldn't do them all. We could only do one. But we had 5 weddings. It was wonderful. They all had a great time. The 5 weddings went well. They always do go well. I've got a great job usually. I only deal with people that's happy.
Yeah.
In weddings, they're all happy. In my shows, generally, they're all happy. So it's a great world.
It must be a great world. And I have to say to the listeners out there, Lenny really has done so much, and he has performed all over the world with world-class acts. He is a world-class act. Tell us a little bit, Lenny, how this all began, because it is like a charmed life in a way.
Yeah, it is. You're quite right. I mean, like most of the people that I know in show business, we hated school. I hated school. I went to a secondary school. I did all my learning when I left because I was always like the village idiot. I was always the class clown. I was very good for teachers. I was very disruptive. I just wanted to be funny. So I was being funny when I was at school, which pleased all the other kids, but not my teacher. And that was the sad part about it. I wasn't clever enough to realise that I was screwing my life up. So when I left school, I thought, oh my God, I didn't learn anything. So I started to learn stuff when I left school, but it was in me. You see, I had to be this funny man. But I lived in a prefabricated house built by the German prisoner of war. And Mum and Dad were, oh my God, they were the kindest people in the world. They knew my life was cut out for something unusual, really. And that's really, I played in my dad's dance band. And one evening, this guy came in and took his guitar out. He was the cabaret. And he played his guitar for half an hour and he went home. And I was in the band doing 7 nights a week with Dad. And this guy with the guitar earned as much as I earned in a week in one night. I thought, I'm doing the wrong job here. So I went on the road I went on the road as a comedian, and I had a horrendous time. I couldn't afford accommodation, so I slept in my car for about 8 or 9 years. It was dreadful. It was so bad. I met some great people, though. I met the biggest star in the world at the time was David Whitfield. And I worked with David in Liverpool. It was my first ever professional gig. And when I got there, the boss saw my show and then fired me. And I had to go home. And David, who I had never met, said, no, the lad stays. He's just starting off. The lad stays. And the boss of the club and David had a massive row. And David was a ginormous star. You know, it was like Beatlemania around David Whitfield. And he said, no, the lad stays, or you'll get another David Whitfield and it won't be me. And he stood there on the line for me. And I worked with David for a week, and every night I died. It was horrible. But we became friends until he died. And I learned so much from David. And after that, I actually went away and started to build on my show. I was learning through David. But that's it, really.
And did you feel it? Did you know, Lenny, that this is something that was, you know, in a way your vocation in life, that you were going to be a comedian? Was it something that was instantly revealed to you that this was the love that you wanted to do in your life?
Well, I didn't know it at the time, but I was always interested in the black and white days of television, because that's all we had. We only had 2 or 3 channels. But I would look forward to Sunday night at the London Palladium and watching George Formby, because I play ukulele, I play a couple of instruments. And I used to watch George Formby, and I thought, oh my God, you know, this is amazing. And I was into seeing other acts, you know, like, you know, major stars, really. And I was always interested in that world. And at the time, I didn't think for 1 minute I was going to do that, because there is no room for somebody living in a prefabricated house on a council estate to go off.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way. I was at home one day, and my elder brother came in, and he had a single, and it was Anthony Newley. And I think it was What Kind of Fool Am I, the song.
Oh.
What chance had I in my life of ever meeting Anthony Newley coming from a prefabricated house? Well, let me tell you, not only did I meet him, but he was my best friend for 11 years.
My goodness.
I know. How could that possibly have happened to me? There was no.
And he is the ex-husband, wasn't he? He had many wives, of Joan Collins. Yes, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, and I met his family. I remember, I think Joan came in to see our show in Miami, and she had a couple of the kids with her, and we did it. Would you believe we did a synagogue, a Jewish synagogue, and they were all worried that my humor wouldn't go down well. And the rabbi came to me and said, "Don't you worry about these people." He said, "Once they see me laughing, you'll win. You're in." And I said, "Bless your heart." And that's what happened. He was laughing away at me, and all the crowd loved it because he loved it. You know. So
yeah. But you were given the sign of approval.
Yes. Because you don't have comedians in a Jewish synagogue, really. But
yeah,
Anthony was wonderful. I had a great time with him. Victoria and I used to go to his home for tea, afternoon tea. He lived in Esher, but he lived in Vegas for years. I didn't know him in Vegas, but it was Anthony that said to me, "Your forte is in America, Lenny." And he was right. So I listened to him. We do work together in America, and just great stuff. What dream that was! My brother had the record, and I got his friendship.
And how did that happen? How did you? Because you say that you got your big break in the UK when you appeared on the Granada TV show, The Comedians. Is that the first sort of?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, because the comedians, I wasn't a rank winner on the comedians. I was just on it. I was just on it. I was, again, you know, I was a rank outsider. Johnny Hamm, who's still alive, the executive producer of the show, he still favours strongly the people that he found that he made famous on the comedians. I wasn't one of them. Johnny Hamm is wonderful and I love him, but I wasn't his favourite. I was just lucky enough to be on the show. I wasn't on every week. I was just on the show occasionally. But some of the comedians were on it every week. Bernard Manning and George Rober and Charlie Williams. And these people were on every single week. They were favourites. I wasn't a favourite. But then after the comedians, I got offered Search for a Star, the talent show. And I turned it down. I thought, no, I've just done the comedians. I don't want to do that. A talent show? God, too big for that. And of course, I wasn't. After a year with nothing coming really from the comedians, because I wasn't big enough, I was offered again Search for a Star. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So really, that was the name game for me. I went to do Search for a Star. I won the first week. And 1 week later, I won everything. And I beat Joe Longthorne. And that really was something very big. In fact, I'm in Joe's biography.
Are you?
Yeah. And that was very kind of him to do that. But I beat Joe Longthorne on the show. And from there, I got my own television special, which was at Blazers nightclub at Windsor. And from there, I got the Cutprice Comedy Show on Channel 4. I got all my televisions from that one.
Okay. So that was really sort of, a moment where everything clicks into place.
Yes. But, you still have to plow on it. Just plow on. And it's only in recent years I decided, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to be super selective and just do what I really want to do. And I have done that. I've really done that for the last maybe 10, 12 years. I have not taken a gig that I thought would be suspect. So I wouldn't do them. And if the conditions aren't right for me, then I'm not going to do them. And it's paid off. But you can only do that if you can afford to do it.
True, but also you are in a position that you can do that. And yes. I think that's rather wonderful. And it must feel also rather lovely that you're able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a Roy Hudd for a while, and Roy, bless his heart, he's passed now, and Roy was a wonderful man. And he once said to me, he was at my home for dinner one night, we were together in Torquay, and he said, do you do anything for charity, Lenny? I said, no, I don't, actually. He said, well, find a charity, children's home or something, and do something. And he was really telling me off because I hadn't done it. I was still pretty young. And I did. I went I got a directory out and stuck a pin in half a dozen of these they're all together in the book. And I stuck a pin in it. One came up with Southfield Children's Home. And I went to see them. And I said, I can raise you some money if you want, and we'll get what you're short of. And I stayed with them for years until it was closed down by the council. And I felt great for that. And I felt really, really good for it. I never mentioned it until maybe now. And because it wasn't something I wasn't selling. I didn't want to sell it. I just wanted to do it. There's so many people out there, I do this for charity, I do that for charity. Well, okay. But I just kept it a little bit quiet. But great entertainers, Jasper Carrott.
Yes, Jasper Carrott. He died, didn't he?
He what?
Did he die, Jasper Carrott?
Oh, maybe, but I don't think he did. I don't know.
I don't know either.
He just went quiet. No, that's what happens when you die, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't know if Jasper's dead or not. But I loved him. I loved Jasper, but he did go quiet for some reason. I think it's a choice. Maybe he didn't want to do it anymore. But I was doing a show one night, and I said to this all men, I said, I represent this children's home in Torquay and Sheffield, and if you are interested, they're looking for a pony. I'm going to try and raise some money for a pony. I don't want your money. I don't want the cash, but I would like you to send a check or two to Sheffield. Anyway, Jasper stood up and he said, we'll do better than that. We'll raise the cash here. I'll take the cash. I'll send the check. And that's what he did. He sent the check to Southfield, which bought a pony, a stable, a television, and all these things suddenly from out of the blue. And Jasper was responsible for that.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really good, really good.
And to give something back, I suppose, in life is one of those moments, isn't it, of gratitude that you can't nothing can buy that, can it, Lenny?
Not at all. Now, we do that within the Windsor Carriage Company. Some days we'll hear of 2 kids that have got nothing and they would like to go and see the Ferraris. And what we do is I'll pick them up in the Rolls Royce and set it up with their parents. And we will take them to see the cars. You cannot believe these kids. Sometimes if the weather is good, we'll take them out in one of the cars or 2 of the cars. And because we want to do it. It's our way of saying thank you anyway. We're very grateful. We really are grateful.
It's such a beautiful thing to do, but also it makes such a difference. We never really know, do we, what sort of difference we're making in somebody's life. Even, for example, comedy. One of the greatest things I think about comedy, I was talking to somebody the other day, the ability to make people laugh. How does that make you feel, Lenny?
Well, you can't explain it really. You're on the stage, you're on a green, and it works. My audience are working within 4 seconds of me hitting the stage. And I always class myself as an entertainment consultant because I get out there and use people, but I don't destroy them. I have fun with them, And in America, it goes down big time. And it goes down great here too. But I mean, I don't work here in England. I've specialised in America.
When did you go there? When did you move to America?
I moved there about 10, 12 years ago, but I've been in and out of America for about 30 years.
Okay. So you've been working there sort of that length of time, but you actually lived in America as well, in Vegas.
Yeah. Victoria and we lived in Fort Lauderdale for a few years, just outside of Miami, and that was fun. And then I started doing shows there, and that must have been 26, 27, 28 years ago. But they weren't the right area shows. They were the condo circuit, which was great. And there's lots of those condos all over Florida. And they were open for people like me, and it was great. It's like the Catskill Mountains, but in Florida. And then everyone would say, you've got to get to Vegas, and that was definitely what I did and what I had to do.
Yeah,
I had to go. You've got to go. I remember one night I was invited to work with Dean Martin's daughter. And we were together one night doing the Dennis Bono show at the South Point in Las Vegas. And she said, I love your show. And I said, thank you, darling. And she said, I would like you to join me in my show, she said, Lenny, at the Smith Center. No comedians work the Smith Center. And I thought, wow, yeah, I'll do that. So I came on as her guest at the Smith Center, and they only have singers. And I took this place apart. It was a wonderful night. And then after the show, she said to me, whereabouts are you in England, Lenny? And I said, forget it. You wouldn't know. She said, try me. And I said, I'm from Torquay in Devon. She said, in 1979, Lenny, my father, Dean Martin, sent me to Dartington. Dartington is a prep school, which is 5 miles from where I live. She was there for 1 year, and he thought she was safe being in this school in Dartington.
Yeah.
But Dartington School itself in those days had the worst name on the planet for being outrageous. They were allowed to dress how they wanted. They were smoked drugs. They did anything. Anyway, she loved it there. And when she was there for a year, and I was so surprised when she told me that's where she was. And when she came back, she was only 19 when she got back to America.
Yeah.
She had an affair with what's the actor? Oh my word, I shouldn't really tell you, but it's in her biography. Buy it. So it's I've forgotten his name. I'll think about it in a minute. I'm sorry. No, it's gone. It's gone. But he was famous, big American star, and he was about 16. She was about 19, and she had this affair, and it was funny. But I thought, wow, she's told me that, but that's probably a secret. And then I read it in her biography. It wasn't a secret.
An open secret, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. She's really, really good. I've worked with her now a few times. And she's got a great voice. And
where is she now? In Vegas still?
No, she's all over the place. But she goes to Vegas 3-4 times a year. Mm. When I was in Tahoe, I saw advertised Frank Sinatra's brother. And I always looked at that as being, they're all hanging on to the celebrity.
Yeah.
And I caught his show one night, and it was terrible. And he was hanging on, he was hanging on. He was, I'm Sinatra's brother. So what? You haven't got a very good voice. But Dina Martin has a great voice. She definitely was.
Yes.
Dean Martin's daughter, you could, wow, magical.
I mean, what a sort of claim to fame, as they say, Dean Martin and his daughter. It's phenomenal, really, when you think of these, especially his voice was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And then the Rat Pack, there are people in America now that go out as the Rat Pack. And, there's the Sinatra there. These are great friends of mine, these are guys, 4 of them, they go out as the Rat Pack. It's such a sellout show. They are them. Sammy Davis Jr. This guy is better than Sammy Davis Jr. It's wonderful. He was
such a good singer, Sammy Davis Jr. He was fantastic.
I mean, I remember seeing him when he was on black and white television when he was with Bruce Forsyth doing numbers together. Oh, I love it.
Yes, I saw a clip of that. It was black and white, and the voice was absolutely incredible, and it's one of those voices that I found actually like Elvis, Lenny, where whatever mood I'm in, I can listen to it.
Yeah, Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum, yes.
That's who she had the affair with.
Yes, he was an older gentleman, wasn't he?
He were now spreading scandal on your podcast. Oh dear.
It's all very interesting. And do you sometimes sit and think, what a life I've led?
Yes, I do, of course. I mean, I always keep going back to the prefabs because that was my grounding. And never understand back in the prefab days why I wore a suit. I just had to be different. And I wore a suit. And all my friends were scruffy and awful and loved them to bits. But I was the only idiot with a suit on. And it's funny, I don't know why I did it, but I'm always in a suit. It's
something about, it doesn't matter. I believe you're born with a particular style. I don't think you find it. I think it's something that's within you. I always think that when I look at people, I always used to wear odd socks and bright coloured things. And even to this day, because I think it's a certain personality and character.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I love suits, and I wear suits in Las Vegas, and it's really hot out there. But I'm known for wearing a suit out there, and I arrive in different suits and yeah, I get a good, nice stick for it, lovely, the Brits here, Lenny's here, Lenny Windsor's here. The Brit, yes. Yeah.
Now, Lenny Windsor, is that your stage name? Is that your real name?
Well, no, it's my real name. I was christened Peter Leonard Windsor. And my agent in the old days said to me, I used to go out as Pete West as a stage name for about a year. And it was terrible. The name was terrible. Mind you, the act was terrible. So I went out as Pete West. Then my agent at the time said to me, your name is terrible. I said, oh, right. And he said, is that your real name? I said, no, it's Peter Leonard Windsor. He still was staring you in the face. You're Lenny Windsor. And he's right. And so Lenny Windsor was born because I couldn't see. I couldn't see it. Somebody else.
But it is, even the name Lenny Windsor, if nobody had heard of you, for example, even the name itself speaks volumes somehow.
I think you're right. When you're younger in the business, you think of a name that can click, and I used to think of all kinds of ideas and, would that go well with that? But sometimes it can be a little bit, I know a Welsh comedian called Owen Money. Isn't that lovely?
Owen Money?
Yeah. He works for a radio, was it BBC Wales? He's got his own radio show. It's fabulous. Really good. Owen Money.
Owen Money. But even that in itself, I think a name really can be lucky or unlucky. I remember when I was young and we had a new girl, when the new person comes to school, and she said to me, Mimi, and we were only young, I think we were about 13, and she said, are you a stripper? I said, no, I'm not a stripper. She said, well, it sounds like a stripper. I said, right.
A stripper at 13? I know.
At 13, yeah. She said, are you a stripper? I said, and she was the same age. Her name was Kim, I remember. I said, no. And she said, well, it sounds like a stripper's name. And then she said to me, I think one day you're going to do something in the arts. I said, really? And she was like one of those young people with an old soul. And I said, really? And she said, absolutely. With a name like that, you can't have an ordinary job. And there you go.
But what have you done? Can I ask what you have done with your world?
Well, not as much as you, of course, Lenny.
Yeah, but I show off. I'm showing off.
No, you don't show off. Not at all. It's really a pleasure to listen to somebody like yourself who has done so much and is so effervescent in their joy of life, which is something that's missing, I think, these days. And that's why I absolutely adore people in the film industry. I was in the film industry for a long time. Okay. I did a lot of voiceovers, and then I decided to travel the world and decided to become an author. I was already a therapist, so I was teaching all over the place, different seminars and workshops, running retreats and writing books and writing guided meditations and meeting all sorts of people, from deserts to mountains to, wise sages and all of that. So right. That's the sort of thing. Yeah, that's sort of my line of work. And I got into doing this about a year ago during lockdown.
What was our last bit?
I got into podcasting about a year ago now, because my book distributor said, you need to do a podcast. No, I'm not doing that. Yes, you do. You know some interesting people. You need to do a podcast and just put some fun and joy out there into the world, along with everything else that you do. And then I resisted, Lenny. And then one day I woke up and I thought, I'm doing a podcast.
Great. Good.
And that's how it started. And now that is all over the place, all over the world. And I have such a good audience of people coming back to me. So that's why I was so delighted that you have come on and, granted us, this beautiful presence of yours, because I absolutely love hearing your stories and how you have lived the life of dreams. By following, I think, your own dream, it's possible to live a life of, joy and inspiration.
Yeah. I just so feel lucky. That's all. Luckiest person on the planet. On the planet.
Oh.
If I did Lenny Windsor at Windsor, the TV show, mine, and about a week later, my agent at the time was Malcolm Feld. He's no longer with us. I loved him. He called me and he said, Benny's on the phone, Benny Hill, and he said he'd like to have lunch with you. And that was how we met. I had lunch with Benny, and
what was he like, Lenny?
He was great. He was really good. He was an introvert. He wasn't an extrovert. He was an introvert. I had fun. Well, we had lunch, which I paid for. And in 7.5 years I was with him, he never bought me a drink or ever took me out for a meal. But he used to, I know. He was a tight ass, but he used to call me because he knew I had a Rolls Royce. Because I've had a Rolls Royce for over 50 odd years. How lucky can you be? I've had a Rolls Royce all my life. I'm 75. 50 of those years I've had a Rolls or a Bentley. I know.
Do you drive around now in Torquay with your Rolls Royce? Is that your everyday car?
It's my day car, yeah.
Wow. How extravagantly lovely.
I go to Tesco's in it, my darling.
And do people look at you?
Yeah, of course. People stop me and say, do you do weddings? I say, yeah, of course. Here's a card. Give me a call.
Oh, that is so lovely.
So Benny saw me on the TV show, and they put us together, and then we had a chat. And he said, I'd like you to write some bits for me. And I said, and I would like that too. And I was a young comedian. And I was so excited. My life is changing in all directions. And yeah, I started doing stuff for Benny. But, this is not having a go at him, but I will. Benny screwed me like he screwed all his writers, most of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. He was so much wealthy.
That's a shame.
He had so much money. We didn't realise how much money he had, but he couldn't spend it, you see. He lived in a 2-bedroom rented accommodation at Teddington, near the studio.
With all that money, he lived like that?
Yes.
Did he have family, Lenny?
No. He had mum and dad, who he adored, of course. But no, he never got married. And in the time I was with him, he met a lady, well, before me, this one. I met a lady called Josie, and she rejected him and married someone else. But he spoke to her every week of his life for about 40 years, and he left her, they say, $30 million.
Oh, my word.
Then I do a talk on Benny. When I do a show on a ship, I'll do the main show in the theatre. Then I do a nightclub show. And in between, on the sea day, I would do an hour's talk on Benny Hill. I must be the only person left alive now that's doing it, because it was done by other artists that worked on the show, but they've all gone. They've all passed now. So I think I'm got to be probably the only one doing it now. But it goes well. It goes well on the ships, and it fills theatres. Just the talk. It's amazing.
Imagine that. I mean, he was worldwide. Wherever you go, I know that.
Absolutely. His biggest fan club was in Las Vegas. Was in America.
Yeah. Because wherever you go, whenever you say you're from England, they either say Only Fools and Horses or Benny Hill and Mr. Bean. That's the three things you're guaranteed that everybody knows about.
or they'll start going, yes. You know, yeah. Do you know the song? Do you know the name of that song? No, they don't. It's called Yakety Sax, and it was written by Booth Randolph, American, and that one song could have retired him for the rest of his life. There was a little bald man on the show that Benny used to slap his bald head. Do you remember that?
The little one.
Well, his name, I asked in my talk, does anybody remember his name? In 30 years, only 2 people have ever got his name right. He was from Belfast, and his name was Jackie Wright. And Jackie died, and he had about $9 million in the bank. And so I think he's done so well. He's probably one of the very few of the show that made any money, apart from Benny. Bob Todd died penniless. Eamon McGee.
Yes, I remember him.
No money. They went into repertory after Benny died. They had nothing. But the business was different then. Remember Terry Thomas? Terry Thomas was such a great British actor. And when he passed away, they had to have a whip around for his funeral. Isn't it sad?
That is very sad.
It's so sad.
It is sad
but
when you hear about these things.
Our business was different then. Now, today, you don't go to a new agent without your lawyer. You know, they got finance guys working around you if you're big enough. You know, even if you're starting off in the business and you've got a future, that you're going to go in with your team.
Yeah, it's a different world now, I suppose.
Different world.
Is it? Would you say it's more cutthroat, Lenny?
I don't know. All I do remember is that back in the day, the agents that looked after the acts were crooks.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of them were crooks. They used to steal from them. I remember working with Peters and Lee. Remember Peters and Lee?
Yes, I remember Peters and Lee.
He was blind, and Di she lives in Weston-super-Mare, and she's got a dance studio now.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she is. When they were big, they were ginormous. When they were big, they were with this agent, and Di Peters went to the agent and said, "Oh, well, can I draw some money out of the account because I want to buy a house?" And he said, "There's no money in your account." He said, "We've been working for you for like 10 years, topping the bill on every venue, earning millions for you." Oh, he said, "But, you know, we hotels and expenses and parties." She didn't have enough to buy a house.
Oh,
but the thing is, she didn't know. She didn't know this. You know, I mean,
that's incredible that she didn't know, isn't it?
I know, exactly. I agree with you. I mean, today I know exactly what the score is. Yeah. I know it. I know. I know my worth. I know it every day. Yeah. Because I'm interested in it, and I follow, and I invest, and I do things, and I, you know. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody just sitting back on the laurels and going, "Oh, well, I didn't know I had nothing." My God.
My goodness, an agent. I mean, you hear all sorts of stories about agents and music agents as well, and actors' agents, and some real horror stories. But in this day and age, Lenny, is it still important to have a good agent?
Yeah, it is.
You can't on your name alone.
Because you can't sell yourself. You can't sell yourself better than an agent. You can't. Yeah. Otherwise, you're selling yourself and it doesn't sound right.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm good. I can do this. No, you can't do that. It's got to be presented right. You know, my agent that I've just gone with. Oh, she sounds, and I know her of past. I just wanted to get with her, and she wants me, which is good. But she is such a great business lady, and she wanted reels, my show reels, just right. So I had to invest in a studio in London that would edit some of the reels for me. They're just perfect. They're on my website. You can click on there and have a look at the reels, my show reels. that ones that we thought would present well, and she knows exactly what she needs to sell the product.
And it's a relief in some ways in this day and age, especially because it's such a tricky business. And especially what we've been going through in the past sort of however many months, 18 months, it must be quite satisfying to find somebody who is able to get you out there still.
Yeah, you're right. Especially my age. But then I look at the other way. Don Rickles was 96 when he died, he was the Americans' greatest insultant in the world. I loved him from an early age. I loved Don Rickles. I met him twice. He was wonderful. I watched him work probably 6 months before he passed away. He had a 32-piece orchestra in Las Vegas, and a 32-piece orchestra just to play him on. And he was in a wheelchair because he was so old, but he was so good. He was so good at 96. Oh my God, he was killing this crowd.
96.
I know. So, in America, that's where my forte is, American audiences. At 75, I'm still a young guy. In England, I think 75, you should have retired 10 years ago. I don't think so.
No, not at all. I mean, in America, it's a completely different mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of my work, my books and my music is predominantly, I have to say, in America. That is, the fan base is there. But because they are somehow, I have to say, more open to many things. Here it's a little bit sort of restricted with age and things, but not just with age, with anything. It's sort of stiff upper lip and everything. But over there, people are much more open. Sure.
I mean, you can see, you can read every day about agents out there, saying, they are, like I think Britney Spears' dad is an example of how he controlled her for about 10 or 12, 13 years. And I could never work out that law. I could never work out the law. That was around her having to do what her dad wanted because the law said she had to. Couldn't work that out.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that. I'm not really familiar with the story in its entirety, but there are some really dire things. I mean, I remember the Osmonds, the story that surrounded them as well. That was quite a story in its time.
Yeah. I think these names are ginormous names. They're all A-list, aren't they? It's fantastic, really.
I was looking, Lenny, at all the people. Well, a small list, I'm sure, of the people that you have appeared with. People like Gloria Gaynor and the Supremes and Roy Orbison. Yeah. How fantastic!
Well, absolutely. I was at Malcolm Feld, was my agent, who's not here anymore. Mm-hmm. I was at his house, apartment, and Gloria, we went out for a dinner, and Gloria and her husband and whatever, and she pulled out this cassette. She said, listen to this. And we played it at dinner. She had a little cassette player, and it was I Am What I Am. I am. It wasn't released. And we heard it at the dinner table in London. And she said it's being released in a couple of months. It went to number one and it got all over the world. And I was lucky to be there on the night of that happening. Amazing.
I mean, a moment in history.
Yeah. And then Benny was there. It was funny. It was really good. But,
was he friendly? Was Benny friendly?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was sad. He was really sad. He never found love, you see. He fell in love with this girl who was 28, and he was getting on a bit, and 50 odd, and they looked like they were an item. It was going good for him and her, And she was an actress, and she got a film part, offered a film part in Spain. So she went to Spain to do the film. But out there, she fell in love with El Cordobas, the world's greatest bullfighter.
Oh, dear.
And that's how I saw Benny. Little to the left-hand side is short, fat Benny Hill. To the right is El Cordobas, the greatest bullfighter and sexiest man on the planet. And suddenly, who's going to win here? Well, nobody won, because she came back after a year because it didn't work out. And Benny never spoke to her again until 5 days before he died. It was sad. He was heartbroken by that.
Oh, dear.
But he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it. It was, some people are born that way, not to have anybody in their life with them, But Benny was, I worked with people that, that worked with Benny, and they said he was really weird. But, excuse me, I never found him a bit weird. Well, I found him a bit odd. I never found him weird. But maybe he was weird with ladies, but he wasn't weird with me. He was after my girlfriend. My girlfriend was a dancer. She was beautiful. She was with me for 12 years. And he was always trying to pull her. And if I went away for a few minutes, he would offer her, his wealth. And just for him to be with her for a few hours and all this kind of stuff. He was a naughty boy.
That was very naughty. And I know that he had, what would they call? Was it the Hills Angels?
Hills Angels, yeah.
What happened to them?
Oh, no, they just, it was only Hills Angels for the show. Actually, there was a girl in the show called Sue Upton, who joined the show when she was about 15 or 16. And there's no question, he fancied her. But she didn't want to know. But he kept her. And she got married to a painter and decorator, which was good because Benny never paid for anybody to do anything. So he didn't pay for him to paint his house. And he loved Sue Upton and her couple of kids. And I think Sue Upton's children were the first to go into the Benny Hill show when they were kids.
Okay.
And it was great. And Sue became a comedy actress, and she was really, really good in the show. She was so good. And she was, of course, part of the Hills Angels.
Yeah. I wonder, did any of them go on to be sort of stars in their own right, or did they sort of just go into sort of, as they say,
one of them became a ginormous star in America. She was in Frasier, and she played the part of the English girl in Frasier.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, she was in the Benny Hill show for only about 6 or 7 weeks, and Benny pounced on her, and she left the show because of his advances. And she borrowed money. She borrowed money from her dad, went to America, and she gets more fan mail than Fraser.
Oh my goodness!
Isn't that amazing?
That was a good move on her part.
It was what?
That was a good move on her part, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm. Remarkable. What a story.
I know. If I sit down long enough, I've been working on a book for 10 years. I don't think I'll ever finish it. It's called A Windsor That's Not a Royal. And it's
come on. When is that going to be completed?
It's never going to be. It's my life using Prince Charles as my comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is no comparison. We just got similar names.
Yes.
And the book starts.
Oh, well, why can't you do this book? It's going to be a bestseller.
I don't know. I seem to be always so busy, and I get onto it a little bit, and then I give up on it. There's a file on it, but I never get round to doing it. I don't know.
You could get somebody to help you. You could get people.
You're right. No, you're right. No, because you're right. There's only an area in my life. I know what I've done in my life, and it's the book is quite easy to write, although the research has to be done on Charles. So, like, for instance, the book starts at 3, Prince Charles was being groomed to be the king. Then it goes to me. At 3, my mother, being Maltese, wanted a daughter, dressed me as a girl, and I was being groomed to be a queen.
Was your mum really Maltese?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mum arrived here after the war with my father, who was in the Air Force, and he brought her to Newton Abbot, this medieval market town, and she was the only foreign person in the town. She didn't speak any English, but she spoke 6 other languages. So eventually, not too long, she started to speak English, and then she got a job as an interpreter with the police after the war. And then after that, she became a nurse for 30-odd years. She was very sharp. She was a great lady. She was great.
Oh, and how many brothers did you have, Lenny?
I had 2 brothers. Excuse me. Reg, who is still alive, and Tony, my younger brother, passed about 3 years ago.
Oh, and you didn't have any sisters?
No sisters, no. I've got granddaughters now. I've got 3 granddaughters, 6 grandchildren.
And how many children do you have? 3?
3 boys.
3 boys. Wow. Yeah. And you have your delightful wife, Victoria.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Now, my 3 sons are my best friends. I mean, totally my best friends. And my daughter-in-law is like a daughter. We run the Windsor Carriage Company together. It's great. She is great. Love it to bits. And very lucky for my family. It's really good.
I think it's wonderful when you have a business and the whole family is involved. I think it's such a blessing, actually, to be able to be in that position.
Yeah, we are very lucky, but we got a building company, you see, as well.
Have you?
A massive building company, yeah.
So what, do you build houses or do you do renovations?
Well, my 3 sons work from an office in Paynton in Devon, and also that's where the Windsor Carriage Company, because that can run from anywhere, it can run from a kitchen or even a toilet, because it's all internet based. But the property side of it is run from Paynton. We've been building for about 30 years, and we rent. We just rent. We don't sell.
Okay. And what else was I? And you said that your wife is a teacher.
Yeah.
And at the moment, she's obviously not working, but accompanying you on your little daily adventures.
Well, only the gym and stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's really good. I don't mind her actually not working good because it's just good. It's good.
I think it's lovely to have a companion to be able to do things with.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I would have done nuts had I been on my own.
Exactly. I mean, at least she's there and, she can keep you company and you can have little adventures together. I think that's important to have somebody in life to do that with. Sure,
absolutely. I agree.
And what are your plans now, Lenny? Where are you? You mentioned something about cruise ships. What's on the work agenda now?
I put myself out free to go back. I was years with all the big companies for 40 years in and out of ships, as well as being in Las Vegas. So I will probably venture back into headlining on some of the ships. And that's what I'll do. Predominantly American audiences, but I don't mind the Brits either. But I mean, I'm freed up. I freed myself up the 23rd of September, and that will, and then I want to be back here for December and Christmas. Then I'll go away for after Christmas if they want.
And then, how long is the cruise for? How long is?
It depends. I can be on a ship for 5-6 days, then move to another ship 5-6 days. That kind of.
Okay. It's a cruise, and we were talking about earlier. I mean, for me, water isn't my thing, I have to say. But do you enjoy doing these cruise ships?
I do, yeah. Yeah, they're really good. I mean, also, and I've got about 60,000 books to sell, that have been in my garage for 20 months.
You've got 60,000 books?
Yeah, to sell. You know, I buy them in bulk. Well, if I'm not working, I'm not selling them. You know.
Yeah.
So I take them with me. You know, book of insults. Yeah, they're great. They go down so well. So go back on ships. So I can sell the book again. Get rid of that. My garage is full of books.
Absolutely. What a delight you are, really, to have you here. I really am so grateful to you, Lenny, for coming on and sharing such treasured moments of your life.
It's my pleasure. It's a joy talking to you.
Oh, I would love to know more about what you do and Benny Hill and all of that. It's really such an interesting, and although some stories are sad, I'm sure, but there is a joy in it. You know, you're such a good storyteller.
Thanks.
Now, I want to ask you, for people out there who want to find out more about you and want to find out about your work, or if they want to see you, where can they do that, Lenny?
No, they can't, really. It's difficult. Get on my website, lennywindsor.com, and have a look at the website and see what's going on. But the work volume and value is not here in England.
Yeah.
So it's either my conditions. You see, I said to you before, if the conditions are not right, I don't want to know. So, but the conditions are always right on a cruise ship. They're fabulous, big theatres.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're always right in Las Vegas or in America. They're all great. So, unless you're willing to travel, that's how it is, I'm afraid. But it's not like
people out in the States that listen to this show. So I'm sure that they can somewhere along the line also find out, because your website is actually very informative. There's quite a lot of things on there.
Yeah, we keep adding to it. We keep adding to the website. They can always find me on Facebook. I'd like that. And you can too, if you want. Are you on my Facebook?
Yes, I'm on your Facebook.
You better be. That's all I can say.
Of course. and give us a couple of lines. I always ask my guests for something that has helped you in your life, that, words of wisdom.
If you can't say something nice about someone, say it.
And always to have that air of comedy and laughter in our life.
Of course.
What a joy it must be to have provided and to keep providing people with so much laughter in their lives. It's really a blessed job.
Yeah, it is. And all I've done is stolen it from the people I used to watch on television. Like Arthur Askey I worked with, and Arthur was wonderful, and some of the great names that were there, and they made me laugh, and I wanted to do it, and I'm doing it. I'm lucky. I'm so lucky.
Really, really blessed. And, they say count your blessings, and it is really true, because when you look at all the things that you've done, there must be some true serenity in your heart that you are following that dream of yours, even to this day.
Yes, you're quite right. I am, and I'm very grateful. Listen, thank you so much for involving me on your podcast.
Thank you, Lenny.
I wish you so much. And if you want to do it again, you can. You're welcome to at any time. And down the road, if you can't find anybody to fill in your little space, give me a shout. Lenny's always...
You can come back anytime. I want you back at any time that you would like, because there's so much more that we can hear and that we can bring a smile to our face. You certainly can. You're always welcome, Lenny.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Lenny Windsor, what a remarkable man. Amazing life story. Thank you so much to all of you for always joining me and my beautiful guests. Sending you lots and lots of love. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
Thank you for listening to Secrets for an Inspirational Life, brought to you by your host, Mimi Novic. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast and see you in the next episode. For more information about Mimi Novic and her books, music and inspirational work, take a look at her website www.miminovic.co.uk.